Hello all, Dr. Fox back here with your weekend update. I hope everyone's kind of soaked in most of that BlizzCon extra info and kind of processing it and thinking about how everything's kind of going. We've got a lot of neat little, if you will, bullet points, and we got some other updates coming. Boy, I'm glad I waited on one update. I'll talk about that in a bit later. And then let's get right into this, shan't we? Dr. Fox back here with your weekend update. I am working with an individual right now trying to get us that little 1 to 3 second intro. So whenever you all hear me go over sort of like the bullet points of what the episode's going to be about, and then I shift gears into there, that's usually where we put that intro in there. So I'm hoping we're going to have that coming soon. Sadly, I don't have the best setup yet, so I can't go back and plug that into every single old episode. And usually these weekend updates are not, a few of the updates are prevalent for a while, but a lot of them are just more of that around that time frame. So a lot of them become irrelevant within a short period of time, especially as changes go along. But with that said, let's kind of segue. And I wanted to mention the, let's see, more. Okay, yeah, there's been this large, during the Q&A that we had this large info come out about customizations for Shadowlands. And we've been seeing this kind of discussed around the internet quite a bit. Now, I don't want to sound negative over here, but and some will disagree, and that's fine. It's just the way they worded it, we get it. And I know no matter what you say, there's going to be a rebuttal to it. So with that said, I think when they said Shadowlands will have lots more customizations, yes, we got those in the beginning. With every expansion, you have to play through and unlock certain customizations as you go back and farm like older content to get a lot of those older customizations that maybe you never got, if you so desire to do that kind of thing. Now, they have said we're not going to be getting, not new, but we're not going to be getting any more customizations in this expansion. They said we're going to look at it again in the next one, or we may get some more there. I know they didn't get it for every race, especially the Void Elves were very primitive, but I think with the allied races there was such a difference. And then they did add in a lot of the Blood Elf stuff we got over to the Night Elves and like vice versa. So, you know, the humans got a bunch. I think it's a lot like the Heritage armor. We haven't seen every Heritage armor come out yet as well. And there is talks actually about that if we segue into that. But just kind of with that said, I think we have to take this with a grain of salt and kind of plug away at what we want to think about, we want to do, whether it be outside the game or inside the game. And just some things to sort of reflect on a little bit. Now, it'd be different like if we got into Shadowlands and there was no customization. Then we'd feel sort of betrayed, if you will, in a sense. And we get, sometimes it's difficult with programming. Others will say it's not that difficult. So anyway, as I said earlier, that's why I was priorly setting that up for the rebuttal, if you will. So I think with that said, I think we just have to kind of go into this and take it from that point of view, if you will. So I'm just going to kind of leave it like that, especially as Janelle kind of jumps up and down eagerly. So I think that kind of gives you the great little emotional thought. And besides, there's so much more going on in the world that, but who am I to say, right? I mean, your world might be just, this is your world right here, and everything pulls around it, if you will. So I can't say, like I said, it's per individual and something to think about. With that said, I think we'll shift gears and kind of leave it at that. I think we'll leave it at your own aspect of how you want to take that. I'm not going to throw my views on it. All I'm saying is I think allowing us to look at that with the different parts, if you will. As well, like the Great Vault, we've got some changes coming in the new PTR. PTR is live. For those that don't know, Public Test Realm. That's what that stands for. As well, and we're getting some vault changes coming in that. I'm not going to touch on those too much Of course, with the 10 boss raid coming as well, there'll be quite a few. What I'd like to see, instead of it going in the vault, 3 bosses for your first piece, 3, 6, 9. I'd love to see, like, especially if you do the last raid, it's just the one boss. But I get it, because then some will have the rebuttal and say, well, that's only one boss, but it's your final boss. So you'd have to maybe do, like, when the more tiers come out, you could do final boss, maybe. If we get 3 final boss. I mean, there's talk. But, or as the 10 comes out, I think we're going to also get, like it always happens, we're going to get it segregated, separated into, probably like 3, 4, 3 or something like that. Or 3, 3, 4, whatever. I mean, there's so many variations of that anyway. Or if you follow my meaning as well. The Torghast eye level recommendations. If you've already gotten through the 8th one, now that, again, these are changes coming in 9.1. These are not live currently. With Torghast, if say you go through 8, now here's kind of something kind of interesting. It was kind of nice. In the PTR 9.1, they've added recommended levels. Some can go straight to level 8, like if you've unlocked all of Torghast up to level 8 on your main, you can now take any alts into pretty much any level. But now they're going to be adding, like, sort of recommended levels. Now, don't get me wrong, those won't always be the recommended level, and that won't always work. You might be able to find that even at a slightly lower level, you can go 3 or 4 levels higher. I've seen somebody with a very low item level make it through 8, and it's about the powers, really, is what they kind of give you through that. So, I mean, you have to take that, again, grain of salt. It'll be frustrating, though, if you kind of go through it, and you spend your hour in Torghast, say level 6, and you've got lower level character. Now, again, every character works slightly different in Torghast too. And power, power variant by power variant. And I think as you go through that, you spend your hour and you're like, I died. But this is common. We see this in other areas that you play your game. So it can be frustrating. Let's hope not too many more controllers get thrown across the room, through a window, through a television, through any kind of screen. Too much, but we know it still happens. I mean, anger is easily triggered without the correct tools to sort of help us step back, because a lot of times when you reach that point of anger in your mind, all rationalization shut off, and it's hard. It's easier said than done. Always for anything I found. Taking that with a grain of salt, if you will. As well. So just to touch on that, let's see, they're going to have a minor update to some Valor points if you're looking for some of those items through that, some of the map vendors. It's over by the Great Vault, if you will, when you first portal in to Oribos. Not from when you have a lower level. Like if you set your inn there, it's right near the inn. You come out of the inn, you go up to the next section, and then that's where you would normally get your treasure chest for the week if you've done some raids or mythics. And then next to that is the vault. It looks like a big gong, and then across from that is your bank. And next to that big gong bank, if you will, there's going to be that mat vendor there for those that aren't like doing mythics and other types of things along those lines, if you will, as well. Looks like there is a update for solo queues for island expeditions. They are running into some tweaks trying to do that for Warfronts. They did mention both Warfronts and island expeditions to be able to solo, but they're running into some technical difficulty. Same thing as we segue, speaking of technical difficulty, into the one shoulder tech that was leaked some time ago as well. They are trying to work on it. But we'll have to kind of see. I don't know. They said they're running into a lot of tech problems because each original piece of gear was supposed to just automatically. They're running into some programming issues. I get it as I dig deeper and deeper into understanding programming, and we'll get into that in a little later. I'll talk about that shortly. PvP gear, higher item level. This is common. We see this with every expansion after we start getting closer to the next big major tiers. As well. Legion solos, a lot of times, there was always that sort of vague area of about a 2 expansion being able to pretty much solo past raids and things like that. Now, you will supposedly, what they said, you'll be able to pretty much solo those Legion raids by the end of Shadowlands. So technically you're still in this one, but and gear will continue to get better. So we'll have to kind of play that out. These are more things to kind of contemplate and kind of think about while you're running through your process, kind of what you're working on. Share what you're working on. Are you already on your second tier? Are you breaking up the 4 covenants? Are you just doing the one main character and going to each of the covenants as you change your covenant after you hit Exalted? Speaking of that, I'm excited. I'll get into what I've been up to. I finally hit Exalted with the Ascended, so I've got 3 more to get through, but I'm not switching factions for those. It's going to be a lot more gameplay for the other 3. I do have a Druid at level 60 that's set up for Night Fae. I was going to do that. I'm only still coming in a couple days a week trying to hit like a 250 on Tuesday, and lately I'm seeing like another 250 drop. Usually around the weekend-ish. I'll probably pop in a little bit later. I know our guild wants to get on a little bit sooner to do a little more leveling. It's good to see that we're, slowly plugging away at that as we get microscopically closer to the BC Classic. So we'll see. That at least we know that, it's nice when we can put some goals in front of us instead of someone just going, what am I supposed to do today? It makes it struggling, and it's not an easy thing every single day when you try to wake up. And this is why I like having I don't want to say substance, no. Why I like to have like a regular schedule, consistency. And if it breaks, I'm not going to go, oh my God, I got to slit my throat. Consistency is broken. That is someone that is not prepared for the worst. I have had so many horribly worse things that I'm like, now look, I'm not trying to say that these are horribly negative things. I'm not trying to put down anybody. We have to take all this with a grain of salt. I'm just saying, and then some will say, well, I'm just not as strong as you, Dr. Fox. And it's not about strength. It's about trying to find the power to live in some form or fashion. We know it's more than that, because some goes, well, if that's the case, well, I'm just going to leave a long time ago. We have to find the strength to get up each morning and keep functioning, even when we're in mental pain, physical pain. I'm constantly feeling that on every time I wake up, shower, change my clothes, go to the bathroom, all throughout the day, consistently this is going on. But I try to escape through that, not with chemical dependency, but allowing my mind to get focused on some other small things that we're working on with said individual or this project or that one. And then some go, well, I get bored easy, Dr. Fox. I have to, keep bouncing around. That's fine, as long as you keep. There's plenty to do. If someone says they're bored, that could only exist decades ago when there wasn't all these other things to keep you occupied. And then someone will go, well, I don't have the money to keep myself occupied in those forms. But again, rebuttal for everything. Take it with a grain of salt. Within, doing something within reason. Pick your own poison. All these aspects are something that has to be stepped back and try to think about when you're in the middle of it. You feel like your life is over, and anyway, we won't get into all that. It's just something to continue and allowing us to talk through our conversation and to contemplate while we try to function through this. Some will say chaotic, others will say this is better than it used to be, 80 years ago. So, find your level of what that's like. And a lot of younger ones can't fathom, even if they look back at history. Of course, history is important. We have to always make sure that we look at history, or we'll always have wars if we don't find some kind of way to move Neanderthaling away from wars. And if that's an insult, that's not what I'm trying to bring to it. And then someone will go, well, as long as the human race exists, I'll always be bored. No, we don't have to think like that. We can find a space to exist. And as long as we understand there are all these factors involved, but I'm not going to get into all that because this would turn into a therapy session that goes on for hours. I can only offer my therapy for a few minutes, if you will. No, I mean, I'm always listening within reason, and we have to always try to step back and try to do it before we react viciously. We have to try to step back for a minute and try to listen if we can. It's not that simple, trust me. It takes practice, and then even those that practice it still have their moments of igniting. So we have to try to do our best. It's not that simple. You know, whatever you find helps you through that in a fairly healthy way, if you will. With that, we'll shift gears again. Just a quick follow-up. Let's see. Someone's like, when they go into searching for groups for Mythic Plus, what do you use, Dr. Fox? Well, I don't always use it. I did for a little while when I was doing Mythics in the last expansion. Raider.io, there's a website that helps you kind of track. Many of those raiders will already go, I've been using that for decades. That's fine. I'm talking about for those few that don't understand or don't know about that particular option to integrate. It is a little bit of integration there, but something to maybe think about or look at if you so decide. You don't have to use these tools. These are just tools mentioned that if this might be a helpful option for you, because we know the more tools introduced, the laggier it becomes, especially if you're on DSL or, God forbid, old dial-up somewhere. Because trust me, I had dial-up right up until, maybe a decade ago or so. I think I was still suffering with old dial-up. I had internet since 97, but it's been dial-up on and off and only random, and I haven't been lucky enough. Data was still so expensive back then. There was no good unlimited plans. And then they started getting into restrictions and all this other mess, if you will. And this is not how our society should be functioning. But I won't get into that because then they'll say it's overpopulated, so it has to function in some form, or there's going to be. Well, anyway, I won't get into all that. So we're going to kind of wrap this up. Account-wide flying, yes, you will be able to do that at level 50. A quick clarification, somebody was asking me. So you'll be able to, when you first arrive, your character hits 50, and you're heading into Orbos or the Shadowlands, and you get into Orbos, and it turns black and white, and you decide to skip, so you can go right to World Quest, and you can pick your faction. You can immediately fly. Not in Orbos. You can't fly in Orbos. You can't fly in between. You still have to jump on the worms to get to your prospective regions. But once you arrive there, you can fly up in the air, and like for instance, you're in Bastion, you can fly all around Bastion. So it'd be kind of like Outland. You can kind of go into the Nether, but it causes a character to kind of go all weird and wacky, and but it's something along those lines. If you follow my meaning, for those that have that experience or that relation to BC while you're in Outlands. So if that helps kind of give you a little bit better option to understand there. So with that, I'm still checking. Every once in a while, I forget about my egg. I try to open an egg every 3 days. I don't always get to it every 3 days. This time I got it on Saturday so that I could try to time it around Tuesday as close to reset as possible, but I'm not complaining. I'm getting tons of Cobra hatchlings. I've been offering those to my guildies if they want any, and they're just our pet tab is so overflowing. Sometimes I wish we could have a bag on top of a bag, or a guild bank that could be doubled size, or double another set of tabs, if you will, or maybe on the other side or something, and it's just or make it full screen. Some could put Bagnon on, and then this big square comes together for you. But I'm talking about in game, the way it's already set up, be able to maybe enlarge it and give you much more space within that bank. And then some of them, we don't need that much space if you learn to clean out certain ones. And again, see, rebuttal for everything. So anyway, with that, I'm still trying to work on that. I have hit Exalted with Bastion. It is now turned into Paragon. Who here is getting tired of getting grinding Paragon? Freaking crikey! Some go, oh, I already did that. And some go, oh my goodness, that seems so, so far away. I am just about there. I hope that possibly today, if I have a little time, I'm going to be getting brunch in me when I get off here. I hope I have a little time to touch on that other 250. I think I need one more 250 to finish my last piece of gear. And you might notice from my character here, I finally bought the Bastion Tabard. So I have that. Little celebration fireworks going off here. I don't have all those neat little things to make it happen like instantly. We'll edit and post. Let's see. I haven't had a lot of time to play the alts this week. Very little time. It's been a maddening week because now again, I don't like to say anything until it happens, but I've been struggling with some things over here with the house still, and I'm not going to get into that. I'm happy that I didn't say that last week because I knew it. I knew something was going to kind of throw us for a little curveball, if you will. So I'm very, very excited. I've been working with this individual now. Now, my luck, I'm going to talk about this, right? And I've been very busy all week prepping, and I'll put all these links in here. I'm all excited. We got set up as a game programmer for Google. The Apple one is $99 a year. I'm still trying to do the DNS and DES number or whatever that's called. I literally spent a whole day on the phone waiting and talking to the IRS, and then when I finally got this nice lady, God, we must have chatted for almost 2 hours before I got off to get my EIN number that you need. Well, you don't have to, some can use it, but I wanted it separate. I didn't want my business connected to my social, if you follow my meaning. Some will go, well, it still kind of does in this form. That's fine, but I want a separate EIN number. I want to be able to get a separate business account. I want to be able to have separate credit for this business. Anyway, with that said, check it out. Cat and Fox Studios is once again live. Let's see. For those that love music, WOTR.FM. No, sorry, WOTRFM.com, I think. Oh my God, yeah, we got that's our online radio station. I don't think we're renewing that here at the end of the year. I can't keep all this stuff going. It's getting difficult, and someone go, well, do a Patreon or do the Kickstarter stuff. I've tried that stuff countless times, and then they go, yeah, but you need a following. Yeah, look, I have a small little group. I'm not gonna pay people, and then you get all those people that have all this negative issue that you did that, and it's like, well, I don't know. It's like, where do you cross the line of honesty and someone trying to create a way to enhance their options further later? What do you want to call it? Dirty money? I mean, usually we say that dirty laundry goes with other things, but we won't get into that. Let me just make sure to shift through those. You know what? I'm gonna jump in, or we're gonna shift gears shortly for calendar. We'll get into that and just mere moments, but I got a lot to talk about. I'm very, very excited. We put our proposal. So I spent half a Saturday getting this proposal done because we were going to do a Friday, but we're like a 10-hour difference right now. So, we'll have to kind of see. So we're working with it with an outside programming group, small team, and very, very excited to Cat and Fox Studios and Cat and Fox Gaming. We're officially a gaming company. We're working on our first app. It's mostly a clone, yes. Some will say negative things about that. But it's I think some could say a unique take on it. I don't know. We could say that's just fluff used like a politician would use, but I'm not trying to fluff anything. 50% of the proceeds will go to the Westbrook Animal Shelter again. We didn't make very much on the animated series. This is based on our little animated series franchise of Mora the Explorer, based on Mora. We couldn't use the solid black color that she is on the little animated character. We ended up using white. So this particular character was created in white. You can see the character's emotions better, and this a pure like white color. I'm not talking this white. I'm talking like more like this style, like a pale white color, like the color of my Dr.Fox weekend update up there, or the white up here on the little calendar that I printed out. That was the Animal Crossing calendar. I hated burning through all that starter ink just to create that, because you can go to the Dollar Tree and get like a $1 kitten calendar. I usually love those. It's just this year kind of didn't quite work out the way I had hoped for getting one of those in some aspect. But with that said, I'm just very excited. We're working on 3 tiers, new graphics, replacement, and then some tweaks, and then launch. So we may see something coming pretty soon. We'll keep you updated as we do our weekend updates. And I'm not, shameless plug, but I've got a lot of projects I'm working on right now. So it's kind of nice. This has been kind of one of my dream jobs on the side to do. I've always wanted to create a couple of little small game apps on the side for like this for a while. And someone will go, why didn't you jump in that when it was, huge, like just a few years ago? And it's not about that. Like I said, half of the proceeds, and some will go, why don't you just do 10% or 20? No, this is how we are. I'm just a little small independent company. I'm not trying to make a gazillion dollars. I don't anticipate to make more than a couple bucks. And all it's going to do is that proceed will go to them for the love. And for those that want to check it out, you'll see under our reviews part of the webpage, I put a nice little memorial in there. God forbid, it hasn't happened to her yet, but I'm prepping over the next 5 to 7, 8 years when something's going to be happening to her. But I want to show proper memorial to her for all the love that she's offered to me, and just something I love. As my mom and my grandmother always said, they said, try to leave the world a tiny bit better than you found it. So I always try to do something. I'm sure there's going to be just like a rebuttal for everything. Someone's going to find a negative spin on what I'm trying to do to help people. And I've spent my life helping, but yeah, I won't get into that. Anyway, I'm excited. This is something to get kind of really, really excited about. But I don't want to get too excited until we see and get past those little tiers and kind of put that together. So, and I'm learning as I go. I've been trying to tweak and learn some more and watch countless videos. I have money to go back to school. I have to kind of do this on a small business scale, and it's kind of nice. I'm trying to plug away at little pieces. We're working on some things. This more of this aspect is just another tool that can help along the way as well. Why I still enjoy doing this on the side. Trust me, if I had the money, I would totally do a similar clone to all this. And it's not about making billions or millions or a couple bucks or anything like that. It's just there's such a long list of reasoning behind it, and that's why I kind of dip my toes. If you look, they call me the Jane of many trades, and I dip my toes in a lot of different places, and I got speaking of dipping toes, I got my items all burned in the fire pit earlier today, so we got that all tidied up, and got my bi-weekly vacuuming done in here. I'm sure if I had a second animal like another dog or a kitty, I'd be vacuuming it much more often. But there's some other things coming. I'm not going to touch too much on them until we have a little more solid base on a few more things, whether it comes to this aspect. But I was very, very excited to announce that and officially put that into play, and put my little pawn in the tiny chest of thousands of ants out there, and see where that maneuvers through, if you will. And I think with that said, I think it's something to contemplate. Let's get into I love my calendar kitties. Sweet little calendar kitties. Okay. You can see I still got my hippogriff left over. My Gildy went with us. He wanted to do the hippogriff real quick. I'm kind of glad that my poor eyes were given out. He said I didn't have to. I wanted to come along and try to do it with him for a couple of minutes. We did that. We're kind of wrapping things up this week. Let's see. We got the World Quest bonus. That begins Tuesday as well. Time walking has ended. The BC one came early. I've been out here trying to. One of the goals was for me to go back and try to finish. I'm trying to get. Is it the honored hold rep finish? I was trying to work on some BC things, and it kind of just popped up for me. Kind of like, whoa, it's this week. Like it didn't even pop in there. I thought time walking was going to be the other one, like Draenor. Before we pop back to BC, and all of a sudden I saw this report posted that said, no, time walking is back to BC, and I'm like, whoa. So I quickly tried to jump on, and I've had such a busy week, I haven't really had a lot of time to do it, but at least I did do my 5 weekend, not the weekend update. I did there was a weekend right here, a weekend event that I was able to do. Oh, not the arena one, but there was a 5. If you run time walking 5 times, you give you a 200 piece, but of course, once again, the 200 Ps was useless, but when I hit Exalted, I did get a 200, so I am up now, item level. I am finally at the pinnacle 197, if you will, for those that don't do Mythic. And very, very close, closing in on that. What's holding me back is that darn neck piece. I'm not going to spend, I don't even have that much money, but there's like 200,000 gold it costs for if someone wants a neck piece that's like 197 or above. It's insanity, but I won't get into all that. Let's see. With that said, we also have the Arena Skirmish bonus event that's going to be ending the PvP Brawl Temple of Hot Mugu. That's going to be beginning this week. Anyone that has their raids and whatnot, that weekly reset comes up on Tuesday as well. And this is our final day of February. And you know what that means? We shift gears. There goes the cute little hippogriff tweet, if you heard that. We are finally heading into March, which means instead of 1 day a week over 32 degrees, we might, late, I know it's going to change again, but as of late, it's nice the feeling to switch that and have everything above freezing except 1 day below freezing. So I can be a little more pick and choosing of which days during the week I can turn my water on. I can't leave it on overnight still yet, but it's just a nice feeling knowing, I don't have to wait till Thursday or a week and a half before I can do something, or have to keep taking washcloth showers with such cold water, and someone go, you can heat it up. Do you know how long it takes to do that? And then some will have a rebuttal for that. So whatever. Anyway, with that said, so that's kind of the calendar. I think we're going to kind of wrap things up this week. I think we've already extended well over our half-hour time frame. They're like, let's go wrap this up, Dr. Fox. It's not supposed to be about that. We're supposed to enjoy that. So let's step back, take a moment, think about that this week. Take 2 of those things you want to think about, whether it be inside, outside the game. Work on that this week. Call me in the morning. And once again, yes, you know what to do. Have a safe week, and we will see you later.